Hi, welcome to the after show of episode 19, the publicly available final after show of Stargate. Stargate Horizons.
We did it. We told a
Final
Stargate
episode.
story.
Hi, YouTube.
None of us are dead.
No,
I
I
know,
genuinely do like the idea of coming back to this in a post-apocalyptic Earth, where the goal did destroy everything, and we are playing it as Apocalypse World.
That
And
would be
we
so
keep
cool.
track of equipment we've scavenged and stuff, and
Yeah, or something in that vein. I don't know. I don't really have like a solid setup for where it goes after this. It's it's very open. Right? You know, in Stargate, it would be you do something that stops the Goa'uld invasion.
I imagine it would be something like we have to contact the Asgard while they're trying to attack us, and it'll be down to the wire, and then the Asgard might come at the last moment. And
I don't know, the Asgard might be dead.
well, if it's the default timeline, they're just very busy. They're still around, but they're
No, if it's the default timeline, they've died of their whole cloning thing by now.
Yeah, the cloning thing and the spider.
No, I mean in Stargate, they were still around. They
We're
have
later in the timeline.
No,
yeah,
later in the
but
timeline,
we're not generations later. We're like 20 years later.
Yeah,
And they died
We're in
during the
20
run of Stargate.
Yeah, but they only died because the replicators attacked them more, and the replicators attacked them more because we interfered in their war. They might still be alive.
Oh, okay, so maybe...
Yeah, the whole replicator war escalated a lot when Earth got involved.
Yeah, we were like, hey, look, we can help you out. And then the replicators were like, hey, we should turn into people because we've seen people now. It's like, okay, now that
Yeah, it
makes
was
you
weird.
powerful and sure. Yeah, that's scary, but
so
sure.
one of them is in love with Sam, and that got awkward.
Got very weird.
Yeah.
Got very weird.
Well, we've got.
No, if
we've
the
got
Asgard
alien
were gone,
people
then the
living.
Goa'uld probably would have attacked a lot sooner. The treaty
okay.
still has to have some weight for them to actually want to maintain it.
Well, I thought it might not be the treaty, but they'd actually just, forgotten about us or just didn't care because they were busy.
And she's the one who got us
Gold
to
seem like the sort of people
break the
who
treaty.
would forget a planet.
Well, there is, in the normal
Yeah,
treaty,
they're not
there is a
gonna
section which is like, their technological development is limited because they couldn't be a threat to the Goa'uld, which is why...
You know what
all
the
the
best
Asgard
part
technology
is
still crap.
about the treaty? Guess who gets to determine whether or not they're a threat to the Goa'uld?
Yeah, the Goulds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why that was like a debate point in like season 2 or whatever
Yeah.
when they were negotiating it. They were like, but they're already a threat. Like, well, you have to make an exception for Earth in this case, and blah, blah, blah.
They destroyed one of our ships. They're a threat. Let's go bomb them. And
Yeah.
Asgard are like, I guess you're right. Our bad.
Such pushovers.
Yeah, this
We're
like,
kind of busy over here trying to
Yeah,
fight for
Asgard
the of our entire civilization. We can't worry about this.
Baby.
No,
God,
Earth
so
is a
useless.
sore spot for Ra too. Like, because he was kicked out of it, and he actually doesn't want a lot of the System Lords to know about that.
Hmm.
Like, he's told System Lords, like, the Jafar under the impression that Earth was destroyed, that he raised Earth. Then that doesn't make sense. Like, that was the impression you're as, like, the Tauri are gone, like, they don't exist anymore. And it's very
Instead of that, they just kicked me out, and now I can't get back there.
but it's not
instead
worth the
I-
time to send the fleet because they're kind of on a spiral arm and it's far away and it's not worth the effort. But I don't want to be like weak, so
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
They just don't
No,
bother, and then
because-
maybe they forget about it one day. It just ends up in some
That's
legend.
the biggest difference between this timeline and the other timeline. Is in this timeline, Earth is under the Protected Planets Treaty at the beginning of the show, as opposed to in the other show they weren't. They were just forgotten about, which I always thought was a little silly. It's like, no, there has to be a better reason why Ra wouldn't go just destroy them all entirely. It's because someone bigger and badder would come along.
So we broke the treaty, which is like, oh god.
Can we
plan.
plead like
Literally, I
ignorance
have
of
a
like we
sentence.
didn't know we weren't supposed to kill you?
Eris's entire objective for the whole season was, I think this was the line. Let me see if I
No wonder why you made like a look on your face when I mentioned the treaty when I was talking to Malik at the end there. Because you already knew where
Josh
you were
thought about it.
I imagine it's Eris wants to take over the planet and then be in charge of Earth because she helped.
Something like that,
Yeah.
right? Because was it her that was messing with biology? No, I don't think it was.
No, that
Anyway,
was- what's her name?
No, Eris wants what Eris wants.
Josh thought about it earlier and was like, "Shit, we've broken that treaty that we learned about."
Yeah. I figured you as players might know it, but like the characters never fully pieced it together. And like I could have had NPCs ask it, but like something this important was like, nah, it's got to be a PC thing.
If if Theron hadn't got away from the cells and we'd taken him out there and we got us G5, there would have been a very strong chance that would have gone, wait, why do we need to blow the ship up? Let's just leave. Screw Eris's thing, whatever.
Killing an Ashrak would have potentially been enough. Like you were in a situation where she may or may not have orchestrated some of the capture by getting information to Theron.
It seems like
you were in a situation that there were very few things that you could do, and that would not make you slightly more of a threat. Enough of a threat, maybe not. Like she was totally willing to work on this for another season if you didn't blow up the ship or steal it. Either of those two options would have definitely been a problem for you. If you just killed Theron, maybe not.
I mean,
there was a small point of me that's like, we could just beat out after we get a G5.
Right?
Huh? What'd you say?
Killing a Gould is probably a threat to the Gould, right?
Yeah, but it's an Ashrak. Like, he's not that important, so...
I mean...
It could have gone either way. I might have done a scene of, like, her being like, I see they didn't blow up the ship this time. Like, I shall have to try something else to get them to break the treaty. Like, it would have been, season 2, she's just trying to pull some of the same shit again. But now you would have known.
I imagine, like, if we hadn't blown up the ship, she'd have just popped in with a hatak, shot the ship a lot until it blew up and went, yeah, you see what these Tauri did? Aren't they terrible?
No, that's not her style.
Or we could have had a season 2 where we were like treading on eggshells. Like, I want to not get blown up by a Gould, but also we don't want to blow up the Gould.
Yeah. No, her style is subterfuge.
I imagine that if Eris wanted that ship blowing up, what would happen is a Kronos attack would turn up and blow up that mini ship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know why it was there or why that happened.
But then she would be able to blame the Tauri for it, because Kronos would be like, yes, I killed this ship of Ra. Take that, Ra. Fuck you.
Or maybe it just so happens that as they're firing on each other, just as the Manit ship blows up, the Kronos ship also blew up. How strange. Must be at the same time.
Double explosion.
It was all actually the Tauri. I don't know. Eris would make it work.
She would certainly try. Let's just put it this way. In the analogy, like, so Eris started the war for Troy by throwing like a golden apple and basically yelling to the gods, like, which one of you is prettiest? In this scenario, Earth is the golden apple.
Hey, look, it's Earth.
Oh no.
Who wants it?
Fetch.
And then
he's going to get all the system lords to fight and injure themselves and weaken themselves, and then she will take over everyone.
What a mess.
Yep.
Maybe we're lucky and 2 gold fleets arrive at the same time and blow each other up over Earth, and then we're still okay.
No, what we need is them to come to like an agreement to have a talk, a big military talk, where all of them go to a giant minefield and sit in the middle of it having a giant diplomatic talk, and we go...
Because they wouldn't just hologram themselves into this big talk.
No, they have like System Lord actual physical in-person meetings. That's a whole...
And then they go there, and then we detonate the minefield. That's actually an episode.
The Gold are so dumb. Like, they're so tactically unsound.
Yeah.
They just have no caution.
It's all like tradition by that point of like they've been all like kind of war with each other for so many thousands of years that there's all these kind of
the thing is they're really stuck in the meta,
and stuff or whatever.
They're really stuck in their
meta.
meta.
It really is.
No one's challenged them on a galactic scale, so they're stuck in the meta. They don't have to do anything.
That's so much of it. Like they've never had to evolve tactics. Like for them, people are easy resource.
They keep everyone down, so they never have to.
And it's also like I think very much so they oppress everyone. And then I think there's also that piece of like if they meet in person, if one Gould attacks one of the other ones, like they're all gonna. It's all a mutually assured destruction thing. I think it's very tenuous balance.
Like they very rarely like stab each other in the back in person. Because they have like a big space station they all meet on quite a lot of the time, and generally that's fine. But the bit with the minefield was Apophis was meeting Hera, which was one of Ra's sons, I think. And because Hera is quite a fighty person, Apophis was kind of taking over all of Ra's fallen things, and he was trying to get Hera on side. They were like, we'll meet in this abandoned solar system that has just left like a shit ton of mines everywhere. Because if you fire a weapon, all the mines home in the weapon source and destroy it. So no one can try and backstab each other. And they both met there. And then the Tauri went and tried to reprogram the mines to just attack them anyway. It was a tactically sound thing if you didn't know that the Toker had told us, and also that the minds could be reprogrammed.
So convenient. So anyway, season 2, Scorched Earth.
I kind of love the idea of a post-apocalyptic game.
Yeah.
But it would so not be anything Stargate.
No, it would be
Like, yeah.
beyond even the tone of Stargate universe. Like,
Yeah.
That being said, that's a fun setting, like post-alien invasion, apocalyptic wasteland
It's
for PBTA.
the Fallout RPG. When that comes out, just hack that.
I mean, PBTA is probably the easiest one to use, or Apocalypse World.
Yeah.
Solid go-to.
Funny, I've never actually known of Apocalypse World being played by anyone. I just know that every system in RPGs is powered by the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I have played it. What I think I like about that system is just how it gets you to do actions.
But that's the system, though. It's just the system is hacked by everyone. Why would I want to play Apocalypse when I can play all the powered by the Apocalypse games?
It's different than like, what I noticed is like a lot of people actually use the Dungeon World as the hack. Dungeon World works a lot differently than Apocalypse World. Apocalypse World, basically, the GM picks one of the stats, and then you also pick a stat, and those both give you bonuses as you're through that for that episode. And every episode it changes. It's interesting. It kind of like forces you to use like not abilities, but like your skills that you wouldn't normally use. It's interesting.
Like the core mechanic's still there of like playbooks with moves.
Yeah.
The stats are relatively similar to like some of the other ones, because I think it's 4 stats. But like that, it's people basically took a bunch of it, stripped it down, and then turned it into other systems. And I think you're right. Like a lot of people go from Dungeon World into something else rather than from Apocalypse World. Like,
yeah, that's what I noticed, because Apocalypse World plays differently than Dungeon World. There's a lot of commonalities to them, but it is a bit different.
Like Monster Hearts, I think, is very much like if you take a lot of the complexity of Apocalypse World out, that's what you get. Like, and then add teenagers
and bonking,
and then Masks. I think is kind of those two from there.
With less.
Yeah, I think in the Masks book it's like starts by saying this is derived from Apocalypse World and Monster Hearts.
Let's talk about this system, though. What were the things that you guys liked and disliked about it? Because I have feels in regards to...
Combat was fast, but still fulfilling in the way that D&D combat can still be fulfilling, but it was still fast. It wasn't frivolous combat or really short combat. Like, it's still a combat-y game, but combat was a lot faster than, like, D&D generally.
Probably because, like, in D&D, you have so many different weapons and abilities and things that you're always juggling, and everyone's got different modes of combat, where in this one, it's like, we all have guns. Sometimes someone has a melee weapon.
Yeah, it's all, you fire the gun, or you fire the gun 3 times, or something.
The only reason our first combat this episode slowed down was some really bad rolls on my behalf, and I'm normally the DPS here, and I rolled terribly. My first 3 shots missed. That's bad. I
stole your luck
3
for the first few rounds.
Yeah.
And like,
so I think for the first 3 rounds I was hitting, and then after that I missed every time, and you were hitting. So I passed it to you.
My hitting was still.
Yeah, you had some pretty low damage output.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think overall for me, like, there's too many feats to keep track of.
I wish they could categorize the feats better. I don't mind the number of feats. It's just they need to be categorized better. Otherwise,
the presentation is half the issue going through that book.
I think that for me is like the feats, like the way that you build your character. It feels old school, like in a lot, not in a good way, not in the sense of like D&D is old school. That's not what I mean by this. I mean like the technology of everything. It doesn't quite make sense with like how military statuses work and things of that sort. So even though you're growing as a character, it doesn't really make sense with the world. Does that make sense? Okay.
I think that like the feat stuff is really good because you can like completely tailor your character. It's just that if they use something as opposed to just putting the feats there and then putting a table of like how these are connected, they should do stuff like what Dark Heresy did, which was to put those things into the table of connections and just be like, this leads to this, which leads to this, and have literally the text in there rather than having to cross-check several pages of feats with the table of which ones are prereqs for which. Because
the thing about feats for me is that some of them are cool and interesting. Like I've got Aquadescence. Like that's a really cool thing. It's directly out of the show. Gives me an extra ability and an extra roll and stuff like that. But then there's the other ones like Mathematical Genius, which gives me a +2 to computers, which not particularly interesting. Increased initiative is always useful.
Almost all my NPCs had that. There I got a +16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think the classes should be brought a bit closer together because they are very specialized. Like, I do crazy amounts of damage and tank a crazy amount of damage, but have nothing in the way of skills. Whereas at the other end, Maggie only has a +2 and still can't get all but the most basic combat feats.
Yeah.
But has a billion different skills, all of which are maxed out. I wish they pulled a bit tighter range.
It's because I took a ton of feats that had to do with skills to give me even more skills. Because I was like, I can't get any other feats, so just skills.
Part of your class is like, get a free skill feat. Get another free skill feat.
Oh. No, I agree with the piece of like, I think it works as a system, but it doesn't necessarily reflect the setting, like you're saying.
Yeah, I like it as a system. I think it works. It just doesn't make sense with the setting. Yeah,
Stargate is about like kind of everybody being weirdly good at a lot of different things, in this like nonsensical, like not super realistic way. And this system, I think, is like, let's make everything kind of realistic, but also kind of not realistic. And so there's this weird juxtaposition with like telling a Stargate story, I think.
Yeah.
I still think
because it was based on Spycraft, right?
2.0, mm-hmm. Yeah. I still think that it's good to have some characters who are better at fighting as opposed to D&D, which is like everyone's just as good at fighting, they're just specialized in different ways. Like, it makes sense to have a soldier who's slightly better at fighting, slightly better at, science, but not with the extreme distances they went, where it makes scientists very not good in combat and soldiers so good in combat. Like, I wish there was a bit tighter range just so people could.
I didn't mind it that much. I didn't mind that much because I had my moments where Kang was really cool, and then you had your moments where you were really cool. So I feel like that to me didn't bother me as much as just like it not all making sense with the world necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I do like there were very concrete ways of helping. That's something that I feel like a lot of systems don't have, is an actual answer to like, how do you help people? Like D&D now kind of does is like, oh, someone's helping you, you roll with advantage, but like you roll, like, and both people have to roll, right? Because like, so you still have to roll. If you succeed, then you get the +2. And it's like a kind of it was a very tangible way for people to support each other. Which was
like stuff like covering fire and stuff as well. Really simple and just gives a bonus.
That's nice.
Really handy.
Yeah, and then we also had our things like my professor thing that I can only use once per session. So it's kind of like you have this cool thing that you can use, but you can only use it at certain times, and I think that's neat too.
Yeah. One thing
also every single point man ability. They're all about assisting everyone else.
Yeah. One thing that I think is the best part of the system: action dice. Action dice are fantastic.
I like action dice.
The action dice and action point systems that we've played with on Roll4it overall have been very cool. And
I mentioned this in a previous like after show where I like it because it's similar to like the way that we do drama points, and then we've done other things. So I really
like putting. I like systems that give players ways to redo, influence, change roles, like to really like take a moment of like, this is really important,
especially on a non-dice pool system. Because you have that way to influence what is effectively a completely linear probability. If you need something and you're going to be like between 1 and 20, you can put in the action dice. Like I did.
My Little Pony uses a system like this.
No, I said I like that about My Little Pony.
You have it in Masks. You can pull from team.
Yeah, the team pool.
But I felt it's why like today we had some really clutch moments. Like Maggie used an action die to activate an ability that gave you a resource that's common to everyone. And then it uses an ability to just link into that already existing resource rather than trying to tie it to something else. Like D&D, you've got spell slots at many different levels, and your cleric might have that in addition to like your divine holy thing that you can do a certain number of times per day. And then you've got all these different resources to keep track of, whereas you just have action die, and it pulls from action die. And then
I will say, as someone currently playing a rogue, boy, do I have no resources to manage. It's pretty great.
That's true.
I stab.
Well,
I'm going to do the same thing again.
Or not.
Then we've got like Bentham's ability, which tie into everyone else, but they tie in mostly in ways of giving bonuses and action dice, which were pretty simple because it ties into an existing mechanic. And then the exploding thing gives a nature of like, I'm really damaged, and suddenly bam, 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 you're helping out with an exploding healing thing. And then if I need to kill Theron, I've been saving my action dice, I can go bang, 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 here's my action die. Like, it's a great system because it gives you that control and that level of drama when you need it, but it's still not an instant win button.
Another thing I liked about this system is when we cut down the class skills in half.
Yep, the skills. I had some fun. I wanted to write up a brief post when we made the Patreon post about the skills list, and I ended up making like a short essay about him where I'm just like, this is how bad it is. So I'm like, listen, there's a skill called boating. Why is boating a thing in this game?
I mean, it felt very much like I looked at that list and I was like, oh, this reminds me of like Shadowrun, which also has a skill for.
I would have had to spend, I think, 6 points in swim in order to be able to get some of my medic stuff.
No, that was
like, when am I going to be swimming? I don't know.
That was to get your like prestige class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there was
we're never gonna fucking swim in this game.
You we did
physical skills.
The SG-13 did.
Okay, great.
I put them underwater.
Oh yeah, SG-13.
One episode, you're gonna need that
point.
clutch skill. Fine with making it an athletics check.
Like the original list had balance and tumble, and I like the idea that there are separate skills for being good at standing up and a skill for being good at falling over.
I think that was more D&D 3.0 though, wasn't it? Like everything.
Oh
was
yeah,
so...
I mean 3.5 had a ridiculously had a skill list kind of like that too. They didn't cut it down until 4.
And I think a lot of old systems were just like everything you can do has its own skill, and nowadays we're like you could just have
not
general
even Shadowrun was that bad because Shadowrun you didn't have like balance and tumble. You just had acrobatics. But the problem was it was overpowered in that some skills were better than others in Shadowrun. Like acrobatics is just really useful.
Well, and then Shadowrun Anarchy slimmed it down, so they did a very similar thing. And they have a point system kind of like the drama points thing too. So,
but like, yeah, in Shadowrun though, you have like boating is a separate skill to flying or something. And like, I think I had a player that invested a bunch of points into flying, and we didn't use it till like the last episode. She's like, "This is it. This is my moment."
Yeah, like in Shadowrun, if you're gonna put points in flying a plane, it might come up when you have one episode set on a plane or with a plane. But otherwise, make sure you bring something to use it, because otherwise, it's like, I am a hacker. I've not brought a laptop. Where, yeah, this is a problem. Bring your own means of using your own skills, kids, because you can't be sure that they're going to show up.
That's true, yeah. Sometimes it's not on the GM always. Sometimes it is on you as a player.
Like, I'm a fighter, and I'm really good at swords. I didn't bring a sword.
Yeah.
Bring a boat. If you were boating, then make sure you bring a boat. Be like,
I'm going to bring my med pack every single time. I don't care if anyone doesn't get hurt. There'll be that one time when you get hurt.
Well, to be fair, in any moment we get hurt, there's probably combat. So that means that I actually get to do anything my character does.
And we brought that translator kit all the time, and we never really needed it until that one clutch time where we're like, good thing we brought it.
A couple of times it gave us just the passive, like, +2, whatever it is, bonus, and that was it. Yeah. But it's forgettable.
On the flip side, though, I have a bunch of stat blocks for the Patreon that'll go up.
Oh, yeah, for the GM tier stuff.
Therons. And to be clear, I would like to caveat with all of these of, like, I rarely consider stat blocks to be final. Like, they're permanent for an encounter, but they probably change.
So what she's saying is that if in the future Theron is being played, he might be different.
Yeah. I mean, he'll have leveled up, right?
Probably.
He'll be doing like push-ups in the jail
prison?
cell. Yeah.
I also had
montage.
He's just like doing pull-ups while he's like.
It's like Iroh in Avatar, where he becomes super buff.
I love that bit.
It's really good. It was also like super sad though, because they had him not talk for like half of a season because the voice actor died. And so like it was like, and I think they did that intentionally. So like it wasn't as like jarring to hear a new voice actor, but it was also like, oh, Iroh. He's so sad.
Such a cool voice.
I love Iroh.
Unless you can find somebody who can like do it spot on. Yeah, it's hard.
They found someone who did a really good version of it, but it's still like just different enough because whoever originally voiced him, I think, was pretty well known. He'd done a lot.
Whoever that film was it Plan 9 from Outer Space, where the guy died like shortly into filming, and so they changed the main actor and had him have like a cape like that for the entire film?
I don't know.
With Heath Ledger, they just started filming a movie with him when he died, and they changed the plot so that the guy.
I watched that movie. It was weird.
Different actors.
It was weird.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I can't imagine it messed with the plot because already it was a bit of a weird movie from what I can.
What's her name? The Oracle person in the Matrix. She's in the first Matrix. The character died in 9/11, and in the second Matrix film, it's a different actress, and they were like just hand waved it off. And then in the meta lore, they put like she was killed by the agent, but she regenerates every time because she's innate to the Matrix or something weird.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
She had a different actress. Yeah. So what you're saying is that when Rainfield gets back,
it's gonna be played by someone else. Yeah.
Wait, that is the thing I want to know. Do we find out what happened to Rainfield?
No.
No, Theron's Theron.
I was hoping
he'd gloat and he'd be like, I killed him, and I'd be like,
I was hoping that he'd take the we'd take the helmet off and it would be Rainfield underneath it. Like that's who he chose as his.
I thought about that for a little while. I was like, what if Theron is?
I thought that was going to be the big reveal.
To be fair, we'd have probably recognized that early on. Yeah, we saw his face.
Yeah, he is wearing a helmet.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the symbiote inhabited Rainfield for a time.
Yeah.
And that it's a case of what happened to Rainfield afterwards.
It would be funny if, like, he had a Jafar with him who we shot a lot, who was wearing a helmet, and then it turns out, like, that was Rainfield and he'd been turned into a Jafar.
Oh, man.
It can happen. It's very unlikely to be a thing.
Okay.
Hathor does it in an episode that we completely forget because there are very big problems with that episode.
Also, I've shipped everyone with Malik.
Yes, that is how the season goes. You ship everyone with Malik.
No, we ship Rhodes with your character, with Dick. Wait, that's...
I was like, she needs to ask him to, like, go hang out, but I need to, like, to be very clear that she is not like, no, this is
everyone immediately went, and then you're like, just as friends, and we're like, oh. But
like
there's
a superior officer and so on. There are problems.
He's not awesome.
Yeah. As long as it's
bunking. Friendship.
With bunking?
Oh no. No.
Friendships with benefits.
She cleans the desk of all the paper.
It's just
someone's making fanfic of that for sure.
It's just a lot of...
We'll be checking it out on Reddit. Probably.
They have to go to a hotel and there's only one bed.
Oh no.
I know how fanfic works.
Look,
they were roommates.
And the heating
if you don't want to know what happened, stop reading my Tumblr.
Oh my gosh, I just want a series of videos that is from Malik, like Malik's series. That's what we should have done throughout the whole season, is just had like a Facebook page that was just Malik's Facebook page and like had people go to it.
I told Josh yesterday during the mage game we did, because he was pretending to be like douchebag mage
or YouTube
Musk.
Videos.
I just told him that he should have made up a Twitter for his character and just tweeted shit as we went on.
That would have been good too.
There is one that we can do. It's called Good Bots Done Quick.
Well, how does it work? Is it just like generate a generic tweet from X person, that sort of thing?
Here we go. Cheat bots done quick. I will link you.
Add a person's Twitter, and that person's Twitter is the one that then like gets garbled to make things.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's got,
I see.
It's got a bunch of different things you can do. And one of my friends, George, made it or runs it.
Anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't done with this. I'm just talking about like you creating your own, or we create like a profile that is for your character specifically, and that's what you.
We need to create a profile for our mask campaign. Then, as our group, we've like a group profile. Like we just defeated some robbers in 27th
No, it was
Street.
Specifically because like his character was tweeting, and also because Malik had his YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, but
like,
we need as mask characters, right? We need our social to be good. Because we need to
we're going to do that superhero PR.
Yeah.
You're talking about the superhero PR
stuff.
Yeah,
we need to Twitter for it. Like,
that makes more sense.
We just defeated some villains along so-and-so street.
We're not talking about mask here.
We're not talking about anything here. This is the after show. We talk bollocks. We can talk whatever we want.
Yeah, we're never off topic normally. We want to give
This is a public one. Just
yeah, but let's give people an accurate view of our after shows, which is going off on random tangents and occasionally returning to the actual.
So thank you all for joining me on Stargate. I look forward to if we ever do a season 2. I can't promise that we'd use this system again because
I think the system was okay.
It was okay.
It had its bonuses. I still think that the stuff was kind of way dispersed and there were a couple of things to chuck out, but it works fine. The skill things seriously helped.
Yeah. That was. I'm really glad
that you made the skills helped a ton. I think
a balance pass would have been a good idea for this system, but they didn't do one.
Well, I think they were just utilizing like 3.0.
Yeah, but there's also a number of balancey things that they kind of really could have done.
I never hear about 3.0, which makes me concerned about how good it is. And the fact that there was a 0.5 suggests that it wasn't a fantastic version of D&D.
Yeah.
Especially considering how much people hated 4, and yet it didn't get a 0.5.
Yeah.
We, like, when I played D&D a long time ago, when I was like in high school, we did not use any 3.0 rules. We used like 2.0, 2.5, and 3.5 like mixed as we progressed. We just skipped that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
As everyone should.
As we continued our D&D experiences.
Actually, if you want to play something that's like 4 but better, 13th Age.
I actually liked 4th edition, but I think I also have a lot of nostalgia around it because it was like the first D&D I really played. I did a little bit of 3.5, but
4.0 to 3.5.
I did a lot of 4.
I played a lot of 4, but I did not enjoy it that much. I liked the way that the shaman class worked, though. I thought it was really cool.
A lot of it may legitimately be because I didn't know any better. Like, I had played at that point 4th edition and a little bit of 3.5, and that was it. So, like, I didn't have any other basis for comparison. I was like, this is what RPGs are.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I find nothing wrong with Dark Heresy, but apparently it's not so fantastic.
Really? Really? 2nd edition with your all equipment is a roll?
That was weird. That was despite having never played an RPG before, I was still like, yeah, that's not how you get things.
And
that's not how you requisition
the
stuff.
Sheer nonsense of where different equipment is ranked in that level system. Like, you can get some things that are super powerful really early. Really?
You know what system I'd look into would be Modern Age. It's by Green Ronin. It's the same people who did Fantasy Age. It's what the Expanse system's going to be based off of, or is based off of.
Yeah, I'm curious about that game.
And it's got so I played Fantasy Age. It's the same one they use for their Dragon Age system. It's got a feel of like D&D, but you roll 3d6, which is kind of nice. Is good. So it's a better curve for your skills, and there's fewer classes, and so you kind of customize them as you build.
I mean, I'd totally GM The Expanse because it's hard sci-fi, and I've read all the books. So
I very much enjoyed the show.
Yeah, the show's really good too.
I'm not sure, right? I need to get people's opinion on this. I've been meaning to ask. So I watched all the show up until before the season that just came out. Then I read all the books, and then I watched last season. And I felt last season felt really rushed.
Well, the newest one?
Yeah, the newest one. And
is that on Netflix? Is the newest one on Netflix? Because I only have watched what's up on Netflix.
No, it's on Prime.
Or Prime, whatever is available.
But I don't know whether it's because I read the book in between seasons, and whether my perception is biased. But coming to this new one, it feels really rushed because they've hit like a book and a half worth of content in like 10 episodes or something, and everything felt super quick.
It didn't feel quick to me because I've never read the books. However, there was like maybe something missing. I felt like they were trying to get somewhere and like condense some stuff. So maybe that was it.
There's like 3 big arcs that they're meant to hit there, and I think that lost the consistency of it.
But generally, I like the world. I like the characters, and I think it's fun. So I would be interested in a tabletop RPG based on that.
Enjoy.
What's going on with it? With The Expanse.
The Green Ronin, they just released their RPG for The Expanse from the Kickstarter, so the PDFs just went out to people.
Yeah, some people are playing it and launching shows with it.
It's very, very oversubscribed on the Kickstarter. It did well.
They're a good company. They're also local, Seattle-based company. We have a lot of
like half of all RPG companies are.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There are a lot.
Half of all nerds are in Seattle.
Yeah, we
There's
have
a lot of nerds in Seattle.
Lockdown on the nerd population.
I have to drive an hour and 15 minutes to get to my nearest nerd.
I have a feeling, Bentham, there are other nerds that are closer.
No, there are
grab
no
a passerby on the street. Are you a nerd?
I mean,
I would say yes. Watch Roll4it.
Hour 15 if it's traffic. If you go at like nighttime, you could probably do it in 35.
With traffic, it's like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, if you go prime time, yeah.
I think
Well,
I am
50
in
zones on the
walking
route at the moment.
distance to multiple nerd locations.
Thank you.
I live in Seattle.
There isn't even a
I live in
friendly
San
local
Diego,
game
so
store
driving
there.
is always a thing because traffic sucks in
But yeah,
California.
There's a lot. Green Ronin, Catalyst, D&D, Wizards. There's a few more too.
Yeah.
I don't even have a friendly local game store. I gotta go to Manchester to get my minis.
I have so many.
My friendly local game store is the other side of the city, and it doesn't open until like 4 p.m. or something.
Come to
just
Seattle.
buy
I can take you like 5.
I just buy stuff on the internet,
Yeah.
and then it comes to my house.
Yeah, that's what I have to do.
Yeah. I have to import from stuff from America occasionally because it's out of stock in the entire of the UK. I had to import this.
Or
from
I
America.
buy EE books for his birthday, and it takes forever to get to him.
I buy stuff and then it goes to someone else's house. My place is similarly named to somewhere down the road.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's like the thing with many delivery people, E's house doesn't exist.
Yeah. Top tip.
But sometimes you get 2 sets of bar stools out of it.
Top tip. If people can't find your house and keep sending stuff to some different location, and you phone them up and they're like, "We're really sorry, we'll keep sorting this. Would you like a refund or replacement?" and you really want stuff to actually finally get through, just keep asking for replacements, because eventually there will be such a large pile that someone is going to sort it. That's what I did.
Eventually there will be so many thousands of bar stools that the
genuinely.
pile will spill over to your house.
Some items there were like triples of floating around the UK, and this was like, I was moving in, so it was a lot of orders. And so you could probably fill up half the floor of this room with the stuff I'd ordered that had been missing at some stage. And there was enough stuff that eventually someone fixed it, because it took up enough space in someone's warehouse. I don't know whose it was, but someone went, we should...
My
Probably like
favorite
a shipping house.
was the beaten up package with a label on it saying "Stop delivering this to my house" on it.
No, it said that twice. It said that twice. And
someone somewhere had received so much random crap that they're like, "Stop sending me this guy's thing."
Another one said, "Not on my round, not on my round, stop sending this to me," which was a delivery driver who got sent it and went, "This isn't here, what are you doing?" Central processing were just being arses. But it worked, because eventually you get enough stuff that they get frustrated and they fix things for you, and then you may get duplicates. It gets weird.
Pro tip.
Yeah. My sofa's finally arriving, though. I'm looking forward to that this month.
You still don't have your sofa?
The company in Italy that works with the company in the UK that sells them had a tiff, and so they stopped sending them any product at all.
He was thinking he might have had it for RollCon.
I was meant to. It was meant to arrive before RollCon.
And it wasn't there. Just put it. That's how long of a time it's been.
I ordered it when I moved in, and I was told it would arrive before Christmas. And then, it didn't arrive until... And I chased them, and it's going to arrive this month because Italy company had a tiff. And they threw a wobbly.
Yep, that sounds Italian.
Yeah. Sorry, Italy. Anyway.
What is time?
Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this very long free after show that's on the Patreon. We have other after shows that are on the Patreon to support paying our lovely cast. Like these people here. Hey, people. I'm also a person. That's true. Anyway.
I like money.
Big fan. I like eating and having a roof over my head.
I like both of those things.
I like paying for cat
like those
food.
things too.
I also like minis.
That is true.
Anyway, bye. Hopefully you enjoyed Stargate.
Bye everyone. We'll see you in the next show.